one of the first things that you really need to do is you need to sit down and identify what skills, what knowledge or life experience that you have. You really got to sit down and take an honest inventory of what your current skills are. Where are you right now? What is it that your friends, your family, what are they asking you for advice on? What types of things have you had training on? What can you talk about all day? What are those things that, that you get hyped up on? What things could you sit here and talk about all day to your friends or your family and share information on what could you help somebody with that they might not have any idea about, right? Start there. Competition is a good thing, and I want people to remember that. If is somebody out there selling what you sell, that is a good thing, you guys, and I want you to remember that. I think it's really important that people realize that if somebody is doing what you are doing, that means they're making money doing it.
Hey there, I'm Kaylin Wood, and this is Money Matters for Moms, the show where busy moms turn overwhelm into abundance. Each week, we'll talk side hustles, saving hacks, wealth tips, and some energy tips to help make it all stick. Real tools for real financial freedom. No ramen required. I'm here today with Laura Bastion. She empowers women to realize that there are options beyond having a 9-to-5 job. Her company, Let's Grow Virtual, helps women grow their own businesses from 0 to 6 or even 7 figures. Welcome, Laura. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so happy to be here with you, Caitlin.
Can you tell us what inspired you to start She Grows Virtual?
First of all, for all those here that are listening, I have always been an entrepreneur at heart. Ever since I was a little girl, if you would have found me on the playground, I was actually selling Hello Kitty erasers. That probably tells my age a little bit. Or whatever I could sell. I remember going to like the Hallmark stores and buying stickers and cutting them up with scissors and selling them on the playground. But I didn't come from a family of entrepreneurs. Actually, my dad, he retired from Chrysler. He was a farmer. He didn't want to work on the farm. So when he got out of the Navy, he actually started working at Chrysler. He started as a janitor. He worked his way up. He got his degree and he worked there for 45 years. My mom was a nurse who retired. So I didn't come from a family of entrepreneurs. But for me, there was something that always just enthralled me about being an entrepreneur. And my first business as an adult was actually as a creative memories consultant. Do you ever hear of that?
I'm not sure.
Okay, it was scrapbooking home parties. So it was kind of the home party industry, kind of like Tupperware, Pampered Chef, those types of things, but it was actually scrapbooking. I mean, I don't even think that they exist nowadays. This was actually in the 90s, so I'm kind of, again, aging myself. And then I tried my hand actually at a few other MLMs as well. But being a mother, my husband and I agreed when we had kids that we never wanted to put our kids in daycare. That was just an agreement that we had. And instead of using my background in graphics and visual imaging technology, what we decided to do was actually a more economical decision at the time. Instead of paying for daycare, for me to actually take a job waitressing at night. So my husband would work during the day and I would wait tables at night a few evenings a week. And that way I could stay home with the kids. And basically what happened is I was put on bed rest for kid number 3. So by this time we had 3 kids instead of working in graphics like I had originally planned to. And we had no backup plan when I was put on bed rest. At this point, we actually had our first home computer, and it was actually dial-up days, believe it or not. So you remember the good old dial-up days. And I was pretty resourceful at the time. Like I said, I had tried my hand at quite a few things. I had tried my hands at the MLM thing. I knew I didn't want to do the MLM thing again. Nothing wrong with MLM. It wasn't for me. I didn't want to go bug my family and friends. So I got on the computer. I tried a few things. I lost money even on a few things. I even tried being an online psychic, if you can imagine that. I'm not psychic, you guys, by any means, but at the time I was desperate. I needed to make some money, and I was just trying to do whatever I could to make some money, right? But then I was like, what can I do with the skills that I have. Obviously, I had the background in graphics at the time, but the internet was still kind of new. I also had a ton of skills in the customer service industry, right? Because I had been waiting tables at that time for a few years. So what I did is I started providing help desk support for several different clients. It'd be considered what would be a virtual assistant business today. But that term was not known when I started my business at the time. And then what I did is I started expanding my services beyond help desk support. And about 7 years after doing that, I found I was really good at strategy and marketing. And then my company just kind of expanded from there into Let's Grow Virtual. And then we started helping female entrepreneurs grow their online businesses. And I started growing a team from there. 20 years goes by really, really fast when you're having fun, right? And growing a business and growing a family. And I wasn't like the businesses that you see online. You know, a lot of us, we see these Facebook ads and we get so excited. You're going to make 6 figures in 6 weeks, or 6 figures in 12 weeks, or 7 figures really fast. And you're like, whoa, I want to do that. That wasn't my story. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I did not make my 6 figures that fast. I didn't make my 6 figures that first year in business. I did make 6 figures within the first few years of business, and I did start 20 years ago, and I've continued to make a good 6 figure income ever since. But the thing is I was also growing a family at the time as well, right? So I was growing my business and a family. We ended up with having 5 children over the last 20 years. So that was kind of my story, is that kind of grew my business and grew my family at the same time. But the one thing that has been amazing for me, as I kind of tell you this story, and this is kind of my longer version of the story, is I've always had a flexible schedule. I never went back to a job. My husband was able to change careers at age 40 while we were able to provide for our children. And we've been able to do so many amazing things because of my company. 2 of my children are now employed in my company 20 years later, which is just absolutely amazing. I feel so blessed to be able to have this kind of company. And I think it's so important as women that we realize that everything's not a one size fits all. You know, so many of us come in and we want to start a business and we want to do this and that. And we get so excited and we want to do everything right away. But it's okay to do what you can do wherever you are in the season of life that you're in. And I think that's really important for people to realize. And the fact is, you don't have to bug your friends with another MLM, or stock your husband's garage with products that you're never going to sell, or dance on TikTok if you don't want to. You know, you don't have to go pitch products on Shark Tank. Or not that there's anything wrong with that, you guys. There's not. But we can build a business helping others with skills, with the knowledge, and with the life experience that we already have, just like I did, if that's something you want to do.
So I'm wondering, many women might not have any idea what would be profitable. So if they want to get into this sort of business, what would be the first thing that they should do?
Well, there's lots of things. And I think one of the first things that you really need to do is you need to sit down and identify what skills, what knowledge or life experience that you have first, right? What is going to be the most profitable for you to be able to build an online business? Now, you guys are very lucky. I started my business in the 90s, and there is so much information that can help you online today. Not only can I help you, but there's so many amazing coaches online that can help you that might even be a better fit for you and your personality. But the first thing that I tell people today is you really got to sit down and take an honest inventory of what your current skills are. Where are you right now? What is it that your friends, your family, what are they asking you for advice on? What types of things have you had training on? What can you talk about all day? What are those things that, you know, that you get hyped up on? What things could you sit here and talk about all day to your friends or your family, and share information on what could you help somebody with that they might not have any idea about, right? Start there. You know, take a pencil and paper and kind of start making a list of those things. And then start doing some research. Go to Facebook groups, go to Google, go to Reddit, go to LinkedIn groups, go to forums. even go to like YouTube videos and start reading comments. What are people complaining about? What are people asking questions about on these things? Read those comments carefully. Pay attention to the problems that people are having because people are going to pay for solutions to problems. You need to be the solution to problems. So start looking for a problem that you can solve with those skills that you have on that list. And that's where I really think that people start to lose themselves is they don't start to look for the problems that they can solve with the obvious skills that they have.
So once they've identified that skill, then what would the next thing they should do be?
Well, then the next thing, I have a 4-step process that I like to talk about, and I teach that within my programs themselves. And I teach it a little bit different than a lot of different people. So number one is you got to determine your messaging. If you don't know the problem that you solve and how you solve it, you're never going to be able to determine your marketing material, your sales page material. You're never going to be able to tell the lady in the grocery store what you do or how you do it, right? So you've got to be very clear on who you help, how you help them, and how you're unique from anybody else, right? So you've got to determine your messaging. And I have a formula that I help my clients with. We do that within our community itself. So you've got to determine your messaging, know the problem you solve, how you solve it, and how you can help them, how you're unique from anybody else. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. Number two, before you start to build your online programs, before you start to develop your programs and spend all this money on your online programs and services, I really encourage you to spend time building your email list. Building your list or your text message list is nothing new. This is something that has been around for generations. Now, I don't know where you guys are listening from. I'm in the United States, I'm in Michigan. We have home shows here, okay? If you go to a home show, quite often there's what's called a fishbowl where you put your phone number into a fishbowl. And then they draw that phone number from that fishbowl and they call you and say you won whatever it be. Maybe it's Windows, okay? This concept has been around for years. Do you know what they're doing at that home show? They're building their list. Do you think they only call the person that won those windows? Absolutely not. They're calling every single person that put their phone number in that fishbowl. It is the same concept. They are building their list with people that are interested in windows. That is the power of building their list. Why do they do it? Because it works. People have done it with snail mail for years. It works. Email marketing is such a cheaper concept, you guys. Return on investment is about $43 compared to every dollar that you were investing in building your email list. I teach my clients to build your email list first because you own your email list before you start building your programs and services out. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to start making money right away, but I teach you to start building that email list. You don't have to have a lot of people on your email list before you start selling. The third thing that we do is we teach you how to build your online presence. You got to start getting your name out there. You got to start getting known, right? People need to know who you are so that you can start to be able to sell and be recognized online. You got to be able to start building that brand around you and your company, right? And then the fourth thing is get your social proof that your offer works, whether that be your digital program. Again, the problem that you solve and how you solve it. People need to know that your solution works. You have a concept, and whether that is a service or you're going to develop a digital program, You got to get feedback. And so many people skip this step of social proof and go right into developing a digital program. What I did to get my social proof, I actually gave away my services for free. And people might be like, oh my gosh, Laura, you gave away your services for free. How dare you give away your services for free? But those services, giving them away for free, gave me social proof, which then gave me testimonials that then gave me business, that gave me business after client after client after client that kept growing my business to the point that I did not have to market my business. That is why social proof is so important in building your business. And that's why I tell people not to forget social proof.
But it does seem to me that there are an awful lot of people online who are trying to make money. So is competition something that we need to be worried about?
I know that so many people are worried about that, but I'm going to tell you, competition's always going to be out there. I don't care if you are going to Walmart and you're going to buy shampoo. There are how many different types of shampoo out there, right? Competition is a good thing, and I want people to remember that. People are going to buy because you are you. You have to stand out as different, and you have to stand out showing them your unique perspective. If there is somebody out there selling what you sell, that is a good thing, you guys, and I want you to remember that. I think it's really important that people realize that if somebody is doing what you are doing, that means they're making money doing it, right? But you have to put your unique spin on it, and don't be afraid to be who you are. I think that's one of the things that so many people are afraid that, I can't be myself, but be who you are out there, and your unique clients will be attracted to you. I think that's really important for you to realize that as you're going forward in building your online business.
Fantastic. Now, your free gift is going to help women to start this process, right?
It is. So I have an amazing free gift, you guys, for you. It's 50 plus ways to be able to turn your knowledge, skills, or life experience into a digital program or service. It's going to show you some different ways, get your guys' head spinning in a different direction to be able to show you how to be able to build your online business yourself.
Great. Laura, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Kaylin. Everybody have a great night.
Thanks for tuning in to Money Matters for Moms. I hope today's episode left you inspired to take one little step forward. Check out the resources in the show notes and share this with another mom who's ready to thrive. You've got this, because abundance is easier than you might think.